Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the pre-patch. Yes, the midnight pre-patch. And in this video, we're going to go through everything that is coming in this pre-patch. There is so much. It is pretty insane. So before we begin, if you like this type of video, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We do a ton of World of Warcraft content over here. So if that's your thing, then drop a sub. Right, so the midnight pre-patch launches extremely soon. As of the recording of this, it is next week, January 20th, 2026 for the NA region and January 21st for the EU. Of course, this pre-patch brings a ton of different features, which we're going to go through in this video. Some major, some minor, but we're going to try and cover everything that is coming. I will note as well, the pre-patch event does start 1 week later on January 27th for the NA region and January 28th for the EU. There will also be another midnight patch, patch 12.0.1. Now, that's going to launch probably about a week before the launch of midnight. There'll probably just be a lot of minor changes in that. If there's enough for a video, I will obviously cover it in a video, but for the most part, it's just going to be a lot of minor things coming in that patch, I would imagine. So let's start with a big one, and that is, of course, a new race class combination. The Void Elf Demon Hunter is coming in the midnight pre-patch. So this is unlocked through a very, very short quest that starts in Donegal that should probably automatically pop up when you log in. This quest line takes you back over to Koresh to complete some things, and completing this quest will give you access to the Void Elf Demon Hunter. Now, Void Elf Demon Hunters do start at level 10 in Telegrass Rift. There's no special starting zone. There's no special kind of interactions or anything like that. You simply just start at level 10. As of the recording of this, there are no new customizations for them. However, Keyboard Turner did data mine some potential new ones, which just haven't been hooked up. So I don't know if Blizzard just didn't go with them or they just haven't been hooked up, and maybe they'll turn up on patch day as a surprise. But yeah, as of right now, there's no new customizations. Obviously, you'll just have the kind of standard customizations you get with a regular Void Elf, just with the addition of Demon Hunter stuff as well. So yeah, that's going to be available from patch day. Sticking with Demon Hunters, we also have a new spec coming for Demon Hunters. This is the Devourer spec. This is a new Void-themed specialization for Demon Hunters. This will not have an unlock. This will be available to all of your Demon Hunters as of launch. This is a mid-range spec, so it'll feel a lot different to current Demon Hunters. This will also include a new hero talent specialization called Annihilator, which is also used by Vengeance. So a lot going on for Demon Hunters in the patch. I'm not going to go into too many details about the spec because genuinely I don't really know too much about it, but there is a very good video on the Warcraft channel going over it if that's something you're interested in. But if you do play Demon Hunter, you could just switch over to it on patch day and check it out. It's pretty interesting. I kind of enjoy the gameplay. Sticking with classes, there is going to be some massive class changes across the board for basically every single class. Now, what you'll notice is probably just quite a bit of pruning to classes to make them feel a little bit simpler. Now, if you want to see specific class changes for your class, I'll link the patch notes down below so you can check out everything that is coming. There is tons of class changes. Your classes are going to feel a lot different when you log in on pre-patch. I certainly feel a little bit indifferent about some of the hunter changes, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get used to it. But yeah, massive class changes coming in pre-patch. Also in the patch is a stat squish. So when you log in on pre-patch day, you will notice your stats are going to be a lot lower. So this will include damage numbers and item levels, not player levels. Player levels will remain the same. So yeah, when you log in, you're probably going to notice some lower numbers. Now, this is something they do every so often. The last one, I believe, was in Shadowlands. And from some testing, it feels pretty similar to how it feels right now, just with lower numbers, just to be a little bit easier to sort of understand how your damage is doing and things like that. I do like it. Obviously, on the Midnight Beta at level 90, we are kind of getting up to higher numbers already, so maybe we'll see another stat squish sooner rather than later, but it is nice to see, and certainly something that will probably continue to happen every couple of expansions just to keep the game more manageable. So yeah, hopefully this one doesn't mess up too much legacy scaling through old dungeons, because that's what happened last time, but this one seems a lot different to the last one, so here's hoping. Moving on, we also have some pretty major updates to the Transmog system. So firstly, the first thing you're going to notice when you log in on pre-patch is that you're going to get a ton of new appearances. So collecting a full set from a higher difficulty will unlock all the subsequent difficulties. So for example, if you unlock the Mythic set from a raid, that will unlock all of the appearances for Heroic, Normal, and Raid Finder. This also works for 25-man and 10-man. The UI does actually specify which sets it includes, so not every set is included, but it is the majority of the raid sets in the game, and this is retroactive. So if you have an older set from the game that you've completed, you will get these subsequent sets. As said, it is full sets, so it's not just like one item. So if you get like the mythic gloves, that's not going to unlock the previous appearances. You do need to get a full set, and you can obviously work on that right now before pre-patch, just getting all of the highest set you can possibly get. So yeah, a great change. Another change for Transmog is a complete redesign of the UI. So as of launch, you will now transmog the slot and not a specific piece of gear. So if you end up getting a new helm, you won't need to re-transmog it. This will just keep the same appearance regardless of what helm you have. Another change that is happening is that Fury Warriors will now be able to transmog their two-handed weapons into one-handers, which, yeah, is fantastic. I love that. So the way you transmog is changing as well. So you'll now have things called outfit slots. Now, these are not outfit slots like we know them right now. They're just kind of reusing the terminology. So this is a new system where you purchase outfit slots that you can change freely. As of pre-patch, there will be 50 slots you can unlock, and these do cost gold. The first two are free, but it does go up in price, starting at 100 gold, 200 gold, 300 gold, into the thousands, into the tens of thousands. But really, you're not going to need all 50, I wouldn't imagine. But if you do want to unlock all 50, it's going to be about 2 million gold to unlock those. So you basically set your transmog inside these outfit slots, so you can have like one set in outfit slot 1, and then in outfit slot 2 you can have another set, and it is free to switch between those, and you can actually put it on the bar as well if you want to do that, and you do this fun little Wonder Woman spin when you do it, but it's free to change between the outfit slots. Now you will need to pay gold to change the transmog inside the outfit slots though. It's about 1.5 to 2k for an entire set, but obviously you won't need to pay that again anytime you get new gear, but you will have to change it every time you do decide to change your transmog. So I think overall you probably will be saving some gold here. The other part of outfit slots is that these can actually be assigned to a new system called situations. So the way that these work is that you can set a specific outfit to a specific situation. For example, you can have a set automatically appear when you're swimming, and then when you're not swimming, it goes back to your regular set. As of right now, the current situations are locations. So depending on what type of content you're doing, like dungeons, raids, PvP, etc., you can have movements. So you can have like regular movement or ground mount or flying mount and things like that. You can even have it for specific specializations, including ones that you've created. And for Drakthir and Worgen, you can have different sets for different racial forms. You could also combine these as well. So if you just wanted a swimming set while in a dungeon, that can be done, which is really cool. The set tab has also been updated. Now it continues to show completed sets, but it now also shows incomplete sets, which is nice. And you also have the custom set tab that has all of your previously saved sets from the old UI. So if you've made a bunch of sets previously, you can now still view them and create new sets in this custom set tab, and then you can assign that to your outfit slots, which is nice. So overall, in my opinion, a much better upgrade to the current Transmog system. It is a little confusing. I do have a full video going over all the different details and stuff like that that I might not have covered in this video. So yeah, go check that out if you haven't. That is the new Transmog updates in the pre-patch. Next up, let's talk about add-ons. Yes, as of pre-patch, all add-ons are being removed from World of Warcraft. I'm joking. That's not actually happening. Don't repeat that. What's actually happening is that combat add-ons are getting their API restricted. Certain information will no longer be able to be customized or generated by third-party add-ons. This change does pretty much just affect combat-related add-ons. So add-ons like Leatrix Plus, All the Things, Narcissus are all pretty much unaffected by this change. The team at WeakAuras did announce that they're no longer making a version for Midnight, and this will come into effect in the pre-patch. So we will not have WeakAuras, as of the recording this, in pre-patch and beyond. Now, Blizzard are slowly reverting some of these changes to find a good middle ground with add-ons, so I would imagine even with the 12.0.1 patch, we will see some further changes to this, but certainly if you use a lot of combat add-ons and WeakAuras, it's going to feel a lot different in pre-patch. Now, add-ons like Bigwigs, DBM, Details, etc. will just reskin the information that Blizzard provides, so for the most part, it probably won't feel too much different, but yeah, certainly there's going to be not as much customization in regards to combat and encounters. So let's go into some of the user interface updates, because there are a ton. This is actually the majority of the pre-patch. So firstly, we have Journeys. This is a new interface that will replace the traditional Renown UI. Now this is retroactive and will go all the way back to Dragonflight. This UI also features things like the Delver's Journey and the upcoming Prey Seeker's Journey from Midnight. The Delves tab has actually been removed from the Group Finder panel, so that's gone. Say goodbye to that in pre-patch. This will now be replaced with the Journeys UI. UI. The Journeys UI also does have a button to see your Great Vault progress, and if you want to access the Journeys tab, this has been added as a new tab on the Adventure Guide, so all of your Renowns and Delve's Journey and things like that will be featured on the Journeys tab from now on. We're also going to get combat audio alerts in pre-patch, so this is an accessibility feature, and you can enable audio alerts for various combat-related things. There is tons of customization here, and it just seems like a really great accessibility feature for those that need it. Obviously, some people will probably not need it, but the people that do need it will certainly need it with the changes to the API. So yeah, certainly a good change for sure. Also nameplates, so we are going to get new default nameplates as of pre-patch. There are 5 different variants that you can choose from right now, and you could do a bit of customization with this with the nameplate info, cast bar info, whether or not aggro is displayed, debuff tracking and padding, and then you can also choose whether or not you want to enable simplified nameplates for certain types of mobs. Now add-ons like Plater and things like that will probably reskin a lot of this, and for the most part, if you are using add-ons for nameplates, they probably still will continue to work. They just won't be able to provide new information that isn't already provided by Blizzard. So yeah, if you don't like the look of these, you probably will be able to customize these through add-ons. Your party frames are also getting updated with pre-patch. They're going to display a lot more information. Now, I can't speak too much about this, honestly. I just hope that this is enough information for players to be satisfied, as there is some pretty heavy API restrictions on the party frames and what is going to be displayed. So hopefully this is enough for people to continue to play the way they have been. If not, then maybe Blizzard might unrestrict some stuff here. But for the most part, yeah, the party frames will just display a lot more information. A minor change coming is that raid chat will now have chat bubbles, so you can enable that in the settings. Another thing you're going to notice going forward is that there's going to be new boss warnings. So these have been added to the game as kind of an in-game replacement for things like DBM and bigwigs. Now, as of right now, it doesn't look like it's completely retroactive, so we're probably not going to see this in Maniforge Omega or things like that and in pre-patch, but I might be wrong. These raids are not open on the PTR, so we don't actually know whether or not they're going to have these raid warnings, but if a boss does have those raid warnings, add-ons like DBM and bigwigs will be able to reskin it to make it look like something you're more used to. But you can customize this through the settings to make it look and feel how you like. You can also use the edit mode as well if you want to kind of change the look and position of it. I kind of like it. I've been using it quite a lot, and it provides some pretty helpful information during boss encounters. But as mentioned, add-on authors will be able to access and reskin this information, so it might not feel too different to you. The cooldown manager is also getting some updates. They've added support to share and save multiple layouts for the cooldown manager, which is cool. And right-clicking a cooldown in the cooldown manager settings will now give players the option to assign a sound and event type. So you can have up to 3 different alerts for each cooldown, which is pretty handy, and actually a little bit of an accessibility option as well. So some updates to the default cooldown manager. Another thing you're going to see is that the game will now have a damage meter. Yes, the game is going to have a damage meter built in by default. Now, on this, you can track different types of damage, different types of healing, even interrupts and dispels as of right now. And you can create multiple windows, up to 3, and you can customize the look and feel of this through the edit mode. Add-ons like details will continue to exist. However, the information provided will just be the information that the inbuilt damage meter gives. So basically, if you can track it on the inbuilt one, details will also track it there. They're not going to provide any new information as of right now, but maybe that'll change. But essentially, if you're a details enjoyer or other damage meter enjoyer, you're probably not going to feel too much different. But if you do want to use the in-game one, it is there for you to use. I kind of like the look of it, actually. And finally on UI, big change that I love, find lumber. So find lumber is changing, so you'll actually be able to track lumber through the minimap instead of having to have the harvesting hatchet in your bag. To enable this on your character on day 1 of pre-patch, simply just click the axe in your bag and it's consumed and it adds the toggle to your minimap. You'll be able to find lumber as a toggle on your minimap, which is probably how it should have been since the start, but it is nice to see it coming in. We also have a new PvP mode coming in pre-patch. This is the new training grounds. So this is a new evergreen PvP feature, which is basically comp stomp, but not a brawl. So this is going to be active all the time, and this is going to be players versus AI NPCs. Now, as of the release, there will be 3 battlegrounds which are featured, which is Battlefield Gilneas, the Silver Shard Mine, and Arathi Basin. Now, as of my testing, it did reward honor, but it didn't give any marks of honor, but that was a while ago, so they could have changed it since I've tested it on beta. I really hope it does still give give marks of honor. Obviously, people use Comp Stomp as a pretty good farm for that currency. So yeah, hopefully it's pretty much the same there. This mode is really just designed for people to kind of dive into PvP without the pressure of kind of having other players there. So it seems like a pretty great thing to add, especially if you can get honor from it. So it might be a good honor farm with a little bit less stress. So let's talk about housing in pre-patch. So details on housing have been a little sparse as it hasn't been enabled on the midnight pre-patch PTR. However, Blizzard have come out and said that a few things are coming for housing. One of the big things here is Endeavors. Yes, Endeavors have been confirmed to be launching in pre-patch. So these are kind of the gameplay aspect of the neighborhood. With these, you kind of work together with your neighborhood to complete tasks like a group trading post of sorts. Completing these tasks will fill a bar and unlock more decor rewards at different intervals. Now, these tasks include things just around your neighborhood, but it can also include things like killing raid bosses or dungeons and things like that. And if you have 3 people from your neighborhood in the group, you also get double the XP. One of the big things with Endeavors is that it's going to give you a lot of housing XP. So your houses are going to be leveling up a lot faster than just collecting decor, because this is sort of the main XP source for your houses. Now, Endeavors are themed on specific cultures. As of pre-patch, we're going to have Blood Elf, Ethereal, Grummels, Niffin, Dracthir, and Mechanomes, it seems. Now, there are other ones in the data, but we haven't seen those on the beta as of right now. The Blood Elf one interacts directly with Midnight Zones, so I don't expect that to be active on the pre-patch. That'll probably launch with Midnight once we have access to those zones. Also, Endeavors do last 1 month at a time, and if you're in a private neighborhood, the owner of that private neighborhood can actually choose which Endeavor you have, but if you're in a public neighborhood, the game will choose it for you. I would imagine it will just rotate through each of them month by month. These are just kind of scratching the surface of the details. I will have a full video on Endeavors coming out on the channel very, very soon. Another thing confirmed is that we're going to get Blood Elf and Night Elf house shapes for our neighborhoods. So yeah, these houses are amazing. I love the Blood Elf one, especially. So much customization there, and yeah, you're going to have access to those on day 1 of the pre-patch. Another thing is charter neighborhoods, maybe? On the pre-patch PTR, you were able to try and start a charter neighborhood. The option was there, so potentially these are going to be active finally in pre-patch. And another kind of question mark with housing is more levels. So the data does suggest that we should be able to go from level 5 to level 9, which is the same as the midnight beta as of right now. Now, they could lock this off potentially, but with enabling Endeavors and getting all that XP, I would imagine this will probably be something that is going to be there, which also means like bigger house sizes and things like that are also coming in pre-patch. So again, a couple of question marks there, but we are getting Endeavors, Blood Elf houses, and charter neighborhoods in pre-patch. One thing we do know is that there will be some more decor from dungeons, so because of the Midnight Season 1 dungeons all having decor attached to them, we'll be able to acquire some of these legacy dungeon decors as of pre-patch. So in the Pit of Sauron, you should be able to get the Eye of Acarus. Also, while we're talking about that dungeon, you will see some other changes coming to it in regards to boss models and sort of the way the dungeon works. That changes because of it joining Season 1 of Midnight, but it will also affect normal and heroic modes. So if you're running that dungeon, it might feel a little bit different. In the Skyreach, you're going to get the Skyreach Circular Table. In the Dark Flame Cleft, you're going to get the Wax Master's Candle Rack. And in the Crucible of Storms Raid, you will get the Crucible Voltive Rack. So certainly a couple of decor items being added to some dungeons for you to collect on pre-patch. Moving on into the Midnight Pre-Patch event. So this starts on January 27th or 28th, depending on your region, so 1 week after the launch. So this event can be done from levels 10 to 80, but obviously I recommend level 80, and it takes place in the Twilight Highlands. So once you've completed the introduction quest on one of your characters, you can head over to the Twilight Highlands, and you'll see some small outdoor rare events, which have you killing NPCs, filling a bar, and then defeating a rare. And that will happen every 10 minutes in various parts of the zone. So it is just kind of a fly and kill rares sort of event, which does reward some items. You will also see some new world quests popping up in the zone for your characters, which is a part of 2 new weekly quests, which will happen in the Twilight Highlands to complete world quests and to complete these rare events as well. So basically, you're going to be in that zone, just killing and repeating various things. Now, there is a new currency which is coming with this event, and this is used to purchase some of the new cosmetic rewards and some of the catch-up gear as well. In regards to rewards, there's a new arsenal, which has different kind of Twilight Hammers themed weapon appearances. You also have a new ensemble, the well-worn Twilight Cultist attire, which is an HT version of the original Twilight Trappings attire from Vanilla WoW. You also have various pieces of decor you can purchase, like the Silvermoon wooden chair, the enchanted Blood Elven candelabra, and the Cinderai winged chaise. You're also going to have a new mount called the Retrained Skyraiser mount. You're also going to have 3 battle pets you can purchase, and there will also be some Warbound champion gear that you can purchase as well. This is a recolor of the Kaz Algard dungeon set, and this will sell armor, rings, necklaces, cloaks, and weapons, and each of the pieces cost 40 of the currency each to purchase, so these will be new appearances, but they do also drop from the rare events, so you might not need to purchase all of these, so you could just kind of do the rare events, hope that they drop, and then maybe as the event's ending, go and purchase the ones you're missing. But yeah, certainly I wouldn't waste too many of those tokens buying this set. This event also does have some new achievements. It has 2 achievements. The first one is 2 minutes to midnight. This is to defeat each of the bosses summoned by the Twilight Blades in the Twilight Highlands during the pre-patch event. This does reward a new mount called the Lightforge Mech Suit mount and a new title of Thorn of Twilight. There's also another achievement, which is called Crushing the Cultist. This is to win the Twilight Blades Stratagem game in the Twilight Ascension base camp. This is a new interactable game that you can play, which is basically tic-tac-toe, and you have to win this 50 times to get this achievement. Now, there was a toy on the vendor, which does let you do it from anywhere, but that doesn't seem to be on the vendor as of the recording of this, so it looks like they may have removed it. Not too sure there, but you will be able to play this game in the Twilight base camp in the Twilight Highlands. So yeah, enjoy tic-tac-toe and enjoy trying to win 50 times for these achievements. So overall, yeah, the pre-patch event is pretty much one of the pre-patch events of all time. Fly around, kill rares, and do world quests. So for the most part, it'll keep us busy and have some new collectibles to obtain. Also coming in pre-patch is a new mount achievement, the Insurmountable Collection achievement for collecting 600 mounts will be coming to the game in pre-patch. This will reward Anshular Shadow's Guidance, which is a purple variant of the Mythic Farak mount, which is pretty cool looking. So if you already have over 600 mounts, then you will get this achievement day 1 of the pre-patch. Also in pre-patch, you'll notice a new login screen. Yes, the Midnight login screen will come with pre-patch. So this is a new portal login screen, which does look pretty cool. I really like it. I love the shards falling into it. I did try and get a loop of it, but it seems like it's pretty randomly generated or whatever. Like you can't get a perfect loop, but that's fine. It is very cool looking. I could just stare at it for days. Now, one thing I will say is I do feel like the buttons should probably not be red. Maybe they should be blue or purple. It just feels a bit weird. Maybe change the buttons from red to a different color. I know you could do it through add-ons if you wanted to, but yeah, by default, I think that should be changed. But overall, I don't hate it. I don't hate the login screen. I think it actually looks pretty cool. And finally, the Winds of Mysterious Fortune buff is coming back for pre-patch. This does start 1 week after pre-patch on the 27th or 8th, depending on your region, and ends on the midnight release. So yeah, nothing too revolutionary here. This is just a leveling and reputation buff from levels 10 to 79. And also while you're leveling, you'll get various bags that contain helpful items to help you on your leveling journey. This reputation buff affects Dragonflight and War Within reputations. We haven't heard any other details as of right now, but yeah, what it seems like is that it is just going to be pretty much what we expect as a kind of leveling event. Now, we've just had Legion Remix, so maybe people won't have alts to level, but yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of a buff to the reputations regardless. So yeah, that's it. That is the Midnight pre-patch. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this pre-patch. Certainly a big pre-patch for sure, especially on a lot of back-end things like the stat squish, like the class changes, like the UI changes, a lot of kind of evergreen changes to the game, which, yeah, have been kind of controversial, but hopefully seeing them and playing with them and kind of getting used to them hopefully won't be too much of an issue for just players in general. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I am on Patreon, and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I also have a partner Discord channel as well, and I'm also streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Midnight Pre-Patch, Midnight Alpha, Beta, any sort of World of Warcraft, I am over on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.